We are live, James.
Yes, we are, Dr. Warren. I'm gonna get it right one of these days. Dr. Warren. I sometimes want to say Dr. Glenn,
Dr.
Dr.
Glenn's
Warren,
good. Yeah, Glenn.
but definitely gonna have the doctor in there. But how are you today?
I am good. I am
Good,
good.
good,
We
good.
made some changes in our studio. We're trying to get adjusted to where I'm supposed to be looking at.
Yeah. I think we both are in that category. Sometimes we don't look at the camera,
Yes.
but now we are looking
Now
at
we
the
are looking
camera.
at the camera.
So I hope.
I'm easy distracted sometimes,
Mhm.
James. So I can be looking around, looking over it. So, but I think we got it. Got
All
our
right.
TV hung in the right place today.
Yeah.
Got our green screen up,
So
and we are cooking with gas.
today is July the 7th,
July the 7th?
2022. So
Yes.
we want to welcome all of our viewers.
Welcome.
And as usual, we want you to share the link
Yes.
and like our page, as well as let your friends know we're live.
We're live.
And if you can't make it live, then we always have a rebroadcast that goes
Yes.
out. Check us out at that point too. But we prefer your input, and the only way that we can see you is that they leave a comment
Leave a comment.
in the chat.
Yes.
So always let us know you're here. We'll give you a shout out, and we welcome you aboard. Thank you.
Yes.
So how have you been this week?
I have been busy. We have some super exciting things going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we shared with our audience about the transition houses that we've had to accomplish yet.
No, we haven't.
We have not, and
That's exciting news.
yeah. So we're going to get around to doing that. If we don't do it this week, we're going to definitely do it next week.
Okay.
But we kind of got two legs.
Mm-hmm.
We got the university part,
Yes.
which is our 12-week class,
Mm-hmm.
as well as we got the transition houses
Okay.
that we work with. The guys just getting out of prison.
Okay.
So we had one big house off of Pool Road for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
The house got sold,
Mm.
and so we had to kind of scramble around because we had 90 days to really
Find something
find
else.
something. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. I'm a believer in destiny and purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a believer in God.
Yes.
I'm a believer in faith.
We are.
And God worked a miracle. I'm telling you, in 90 days,
That is a testimony.
he worked a miracle. We found two houses and closed on both of them. We're moving in one of them this weekend.
That is miraculous.
And moving in another one in a couple of weeks. And we have another house that we bought back and got to be licensed again. So we hit the ground running. So this week it's going to be a very busy week this weekend because we're moving guys around. Mm-hmm. But I am super excited that those houses belong to us now, and we can't get kicked out anymore.
Right. And that old saying, it ain't God good.
Ain't God good. I'm telling you, that's a miracle. Our realtor, our banker, and we do some shout outs to them. Mm-hmm. Down the road, we're gonna really do a lot of shout outs. But I just kind of I'm super excited about this journey in the last 90 days and how we ended up with where we are. And it's the goodness of God.
We absolutely want to do that. And I want to say hello to Jasmine. She's checking us out.
Yes.
Saying hello, Jasmine. She's one of our anchors around here.
Yes.
She does a lot, and we thank her for joining us today.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to let you talk about anything new in terms of the upcoming week about the houses and things like that. But today we're going to tackle an old subject.
Okay.
And then I know you've got some other content too. But we're just going to keep moving right along.
Yes.
And something that's dear to me now is our Fathers Forever University.
Yes.
And sometimes it doesn't get a lot of play as often as we'd like to. It's just different ways of being a part of Fathers Forever University. But we want to talk about it in a more direct way.
Yes.
Right now we're having open enrollment.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a few scholarships available.
Yes, there's a few scholarships.
And we just would love to have some new folk sign up and be a part of our program.
Yes.
When we say scholarships, it could be a partial or it could be a full. It depends on the person.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure we would love to be able to say we've given out 5 scholarships so that we can go ahead and get our next semester started.
Yes, yes.
And it's not but 12 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 12 homework assignments with that. But, it's a part of the process. The book has the homework assignments already in it.
Yep.
So each new student would get a book, and the homework assignments would be in it. And then we discuss that chapter. We do one chapter a week.
Yes.
And if it's a time slot that's not working for you, we might be able to adjust that. But for now, it's on Thursdays from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Yes.
And we'd love to get our new course, our new session started with some new people.
Yes.
And but I have a question for you though, Glenn, and we might say we're struggling with this question, but I don't look at it as a struggle. But how can this course, this curriculum, benefit a good dad? Now, we're not talking about dads who don't see their kids.
Right.
We're talking about dads who are in the life of their children.
Yes. We wrote this book with all dads in mind.
Okay.
New dads, struggling dads, and good dads who want to be great dads.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of nuggets in this book for all dads. If you're a good dad, we cover some things that perhaps you haven't thought about. But we always can get better with something. Yeah. But our book wasn't just designed for struggling dads, even though there's a major part of it.
Right.
It's also designed, again, for all dads. Okay. If you're a new dad and you just had a kid, son, daughter, and you really, really want to learn how to be a good father, you can read it in that book. Yeah. And it'll show you some techniques and some very, very good things to do. We talk a lot about co-parenting and being able to, so if you are a divorced dad and now you and your ex-wife are starting to co-parent, this book is definitely for you.
Okay.
Because we show you some things that you can do to make life better, but for you, your kid, and your ex-wife or girlfriend, whatever.
Right.
So that was the whole concept when we put this book together. And it's stuff that, James, we've been teaching for the last 12 years, 14 years, excuse me. And we kind of put it together 14 years ago. We modified it a lot until we think the perfect.
So now we've got an actual curriculum in print.
Just in print. Yeah. And this book is self-study as well as group study.
Right.
And so that's why, child support agencies, and you don't have to be audited to come to this class. You can be, which is another thing I really want to point out.
Absolutely.
You do not have to be audited to come to this program.
No, you don't.
You can say, you know what, I'm a good dad, I want to be a better dad, sign up for the program.
Glenn, I'm going to cut you off real quick, but us men folk, we think we know it all. We think we've arrived and that, we can't really do anything any differently.
Yes.
But I want to tell our fathers that, you never learn it all.
You never learn it all.
We get it in bits and pieces, and then we apply it. Right. Someone once said, "How do you eat a cow?
One hamburger at a time."
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how you eat it.
Yeah, you're not going to eat that whole cow at one sitting.
No, you can't.
It's one bite at a time. And so with our men, we want you to understand that, we're not promoting ourselves as being the official voice for all fathers. We're here to share information. We are here to exchange ideas and to support one another as well as our families.
Yes. I've had several guys that started our program, and someone was ordered, and one guy's like, You know, when I came to your program, I was like, this guy can't teach me nothing about being a dad.
Right.
Because I know I'm a good dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he got kind of caught up in the system according to him and ended up coming here. He said, y'all can't teach me nothing about being a dad.
Mm-hmm.
But at graduation, he stood up and said, I thought I knew about being a dad
Mm-hmm.
until I went to this program.
Absolutely.
Now I am a much better dad than I was when I came to this program. And we hear that on a regular basis. Not because, but this is stuff that's been proven.
Right.
It's proven fatherhood stuff.
Practical matters.
Practical,
yeah. Practical things. And we apply that. And sometimes it makes a difference when used correctly.
Yes. And somebody used to say, you can't teach me how to be a dad. I'm thinking, I don't agree with that. Because we always could be better at what we do.
Oh yeah.
And that's why you go back to school, or that's why you don't necessarily change fields. You just learn more about that field.
Yeah, you get certifications
exactly.
and things of that nature.
Yeah, so you go to the next level. The same thing about fatherhood. Mm-hmm. This book will help you go to the next level because it's a curriculum that we've taught over 2,000 fathers in the last 14 years.
I'd like to challenge our women in the audience to reach out to their sons, their nephews, their cousins,
mm-hmm.
and even their spouses or boyfriends, and let them know that this is something that could be beneficial to them.
Yes.
You don't have to be ordered. You
yes.
don't have to be considered a bad dad. None of those things.
None of those things.
We're talking about just coming together, sharing information, and being stronger fathers so that we can have a stronger community.
Yes, and we haven't mentioned this, James.
Uh-huh.
But we also have this book in audio. We have an audio.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Tell us about that.
So you can just go and download it and go to our website. I think it's on our website, and you can download the Audible versions
mm-hmm.
and just listen to it while you're driving down the street, down the car. So we're gonna start advertising that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
We just kind of got it set up and done,
uh-huh.
and we really haven't talked about it a lot. But we're going to start talking about that to get it advertised and getting it out there. So you can just buy your audio book instead of the written book. I have a combination of both of them.
Good. And,
absolutely. So we really, So
now, we're beginning a new month.
Mm-hmm.
This is July, and June. In terms of our book drive, we reached over 300 books.
Yes.
A little over 300.
Yes.
So, kudos to the team and you. I know that you worked hard on.
Yes,
on
we had a lot of reverse book signings. We want to do the same thing this month. Tomorrow, we're going to be delivering those books to CLI, and we got a couple of them we're going to be doing to some local jails.
Okay.
We are waiting for Wake County now. We just signed an MOU with them, so we'll be taking the class inside the Hammond Road Detention Center.
Right.
Excited about that. We taking the books to Bun already. We're going to take some more. We're going to be starting a class in Bun in the next few weeks. We just had a meeting last week with Scott in prison and Laurinburg,
North Carolina. That's a good ride.
It's a good ride. 2 hours down. So we're not going to be driving out there every week, but we are going to be sending a lot of books. That is a massive facility down there.
Yes, it is.
It is huge. I'm not sure how many inmates it is, but it is. But we're going to be storing a lot of books down there.
And you know what else we're doing is this coincides with what you just said. Is we're now beginning to train.
Yes.
Volunteers.
Yes, volunteers.
To teach the course inside of these facilities.
Yes. And so if you're out there and listening, the old folks, you say, in Radio Land.
Yes.
And we will say Radio Land.
But
if you're out there on the internet and you want to get involved in volunteer teaching our course to different inmates at different facilities, call us and we will train you. Because obviously, James, we can't go to all these prisons.
No, we can't.
We can't even go to a tenth of them.
Right.
We can't do it. But what we can do is empower other people to go.
Absolutely. And some of our viewers might even have a small group in their own facility, their own church or organization we'd certainly be willing to do the same thing, train the trainers, so
Yes, and let them go
they
in
can
and teach
carry
the
the
class.
curriculum forward.
Yes, we are trying, like we said, number 627,000 fathers incarcerated. They got kids under 18.
Yeah.
That's a major number,
Yeah.
and we want to make a big dent in that number and getting these books into those hands. So if you got a calling for to work with men and you want to be trained how to teach this curriculum, we would gladly train you and let you go into a local prison. Because I think some of our donors, some people who want to donate the books, ask the question: is my book going locally? And we can actually say yes.
We can say yes
because it's going to Wake County, it's going to Franklin County, and it's going to be going to Scotland County. Well, it's in Cumberland County
and Laurinburg.
In Laurinburg. And we also now, I met a lady from Johnson County Correctional a couple of weeks ago. We're going to reach out to her, and so we want to get these books locally as well as nationally and statewide and federal across the board. So we need your help. Again, not just to buy the book, but to also, if you want to learn how to teach a book, we want to teach you how to be a facilitator. And
then, if you don't want to do either of those things, you can always come in and sign some of these books.
Yes, come in and sign some books. I met a lady yesterday, Sister Janice. We're going to be taking some books to her. Again, shout out to our realtor, Petra, and to our mortgage broker, Mr. Willie Baker. These are one of them that one bought 60, I think it was 68 books, and the other she bought 25 books. And actually, Petra, shout out to her. Yeah, Petra came in and sit down and signed all 22 books.
She signed the book.
Every one of them. Every one of them.
Well, thank you.
We thank you, Petra, for that. Shout out to her for that. And Willie and his daughter, they've been so faithful in helping us find the houses, and so they donated 68 books. Good. And those books are going to be going to Johnson, Bund Correctional, as well as Scotland.
Yeah. Those are staying home.
Those are staying. Yeah. So we are doing some local stuff, and again, so we are really grateful. We want to reach out to a lot of businesses because a lot of businesses, they can donate books. But they can't, take time to come and sign all of them. And I get that. Right. But we have people now that's going to be signing the books. Our senior citizens, working with the Girls Club, Girls and Boys Club, they're going to be perhaps signing some of the books. Yep. And so we got a lady, like I said, Miss Janice, yesterday I met with her. She said, bring up 40, 50 books and they'll sign all of them.
That's perfect.
So
that's wonderful.
This is a community thing. We're doing this together.
Yes.
Thank God for grants and thank God for other stuff. But until the grant come, because grants come and go. But these are our brothers, these are our sisters, these are our nephews, our uncles that's incarcerated or maybe not incarcerated and want to learn how to be a good dad.
Well, we've been talking about some interesting things, and
yes,
and the way it looks for the last 3 weeks, we were talking about anger, some version of anger, and what it was, and how to manage anger, and sometimes who anger affects the most.
Right. Yes.
And as always, we all often want to speak of. We're doing this not only for the men, not only for the women, but for these children who have parents who are missing or parents who are not present.
Right.
Or if they are present, when they don't get along. Especially last week's show, we briefly talked about the internet story where the father brought some McDonald's for his son. But the ex-mother has 3 other kids, and he didn't bring anything for them, and that was a big wave that rode all of last week. And but I think we can limit it to 1 or 2 things. There's some anger involved, and there's some need for co-parenting also. We're not trying to take a side one way or the other. But Glenn, what is a new component that we wanted to add to today's talk?
Yes, today this thing we call forgiveness.
Okay.
It is a major part of our lives. Um, it's a choice.
Mhm.
Let me read the definition of
Okay.
of forgiveness. Forgiveness is a willing to give up your resentment towards someone who have wronged you, regardless of how serious or painful their wrong might have been. That means you renounce any desire to get even.
Mhm.
There are three elements to forgiveness:
Okay.
to give up the resentment about the wrong, to give up the resentment towards the wrongdoer, and to give up plans for retaliation.
That's a big one.
That's the big one. So first of all, it is a choice.
Mhm.
You have to choose to forgive. And the three things you have to do. That means you renounce the desire to get even.
Okay.
So you know what? I'm mad at you. You did to me, whatever.
Mhm.
But I forgive you. But when I say I forgive you, I forgive you. I've given up the resentment that I have for you.
Mhm.
Then I've given up the resentment that you took my cigarettes
Mhm.
or whatever you took from me, or you
Mhm.
took my, we do this a lot in a house. And I use that as an example
Mhm.
because one of the common things that happen in our house is cigarettes are getting
They're
stolen.
getting lost.
And people get into a fight because
Mhm.
somebody stole their cigarettes.
Right.
So, but you give up, that happened, yes, it's wrong. And they shouldn't have done it. But you say, you know what, I'm going to move on. I'm not going to put my cigarettes down no more.
Mhm.
But but you give up that resentment for the person taking what they took from you.
Yeah.
So you forgive the person, and you forgive up the fact that they took their cigarettes, and then you put the plan of retaliation
Aside.
aside.
Yeah. Who is forgiveness for then?
Forgiveness really for the person who's forgiving.
Who's been offended.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, but what is unforgiveness? Unforgiveness is a choice too.
Oh.
Both of them are choices.
Mhm.
Either I choose to forgive you, I choose to not forgive you.
Mhm.
Both of them are choices.
So unforgiveness has no relationship to forgiveness then.
They're the opposite for one another.
They're the opposite.
So but again, my point is both of them are choices.
Mhm.
I can choose to forgive you,
Mhm.
and I can choose not to forgive you,
Right.
and that's what we don't realize
Yes.
sometimes. When I say I forgive you, I made that commitment, and it's a choice.
Mhm.
But when I don't say I could, but I don't forgive you, that's still a choice.
Yeah.
And I don't say it most of the time. People don't say I'm never going to forgive you for that. They just walk it out.
Mhm. Yeah.
They don't say it,
Right.
but they walk it out.
Right.
They have plans. They keep the plans of retaliation for the retaliation, and they keep the plan. And sometimes people can't go to sleep at night because they having this conversation in their mind about this person who did them wrong
Over and over and over.
That's why divorce can be so painful.
Mhm.
Because the person that you love the most is now that the person who had hurt you the most.
Yeah.
That's the deepest. And now you got 3 kids, or 1 kid, or 2 kids.
Mhm.
And now you got to watch your kid grow up looking like the daddy or the mama.
Mhm.
And you remind it every day, but that's your child.
Mhm.
But and also you're not married with the child, but the child you remind you of the ex-husband who looks just like him.
Mhm.
And then sometimes when people then you got bitterness and resentment, all those things coming together.
Right. So it makes for really an unhealthy and unhappy person.
Yes.
Who continues
to walk in unforgiveness.
Mhm.
Again, it's a choice, like forgiveness is. So a lot of times, this is the unforgiveness, the bitterness, resentment. Those are the 3 things I call them. I used to call them the 3 sisters. And somebody said, "Why they got to be girls? Why you call them the 3 brothers?" But why do they triplets?
Mhm.
And most of the time they travel together.
Mhm.
If I'm unforgiving, I got bitterness and resentment.
Mhm.
And a lot of times that's what's the underlying issue that's feeding your anger.
Right.
That's why you could go from 0 to 100 in a
Mhm.
split second
Mhm.
because you got all this underlying stuff unforgiveness, bitterness, and resentment, and you could go from 0 to 100, and
Right.
you done blew your stack.
And something I know that we cover in class is that our reaction to a problem can either be one where we can resolve something, or we can create a whole new.
We can create a whole put. And James, that's why I put forgiveness in the middle of this chapter.
Okay.
Anger and anger management. I've taught anger management classes.
Mm-hmm.
And when I teach my classes, I do a little different. I want to teach about forgiveness and bitterness and resentment.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of the anger management class.
Right.
Because if you don't get rid of that stuff,
mm-hmm.
It's going to eat your lunch. So,
right.
So what I said on chapter 5,
mm-hmm.
what I said anger management, you
yes.
And I want you to quote forgiveness is essential. It's essential on the journey of peace and happiness.
Wow, I like that.
Forgiveness is essential and necessary. It's important on the journey of peace and happiness. In other words, if you're going to stay
mm-hmm.
with peace and happiness in your heart,
right,
you can't let that stuff be in there, because it's going to rob your peace and it's going to rob your joy.
Yeah.
And your happiness is not going to be there.
And that's kind of like how sometimes, and I'll go back to another old saying, we miss our blessings.
We miss our blessings because of your unforgiveness, your happiness. We know joy comes from God. Joy is that emotion that we have, but happiness is just important.
Mm-hmm.
But happiness is a state of mind.
That's one of those fruits.
So if you don't have joy, and you can't really have a whole lot of happiness. But unforgiveness steals that from you.
Yes.
It takes that away from you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, on this journey of peace and happiness, you have forgiveness. It's got to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
And that's why we see a lot of people go, like you said earlier, they go from 100 to 0 to 100, yeah. And then because all this bitterness and resentment is lying underneath their heart, in their heart.
Mm-hmm.
And then they overreact to a problem. And like I said, one of the quotes we do, when we overreact to a problem, we now have two problems.
Mm-hmm.
The one you overreact to,
right,
and the one you just created,
yeah,
in your overreaction.
Yeah.
So now you got two problems, and a lot of times our overreaction comes because of the anger that we have in our heart, along with the bitterness and resentment.
It's almost like the Hatfields and the McCoys,
Yes,
that feud went on for
years and years.
And then at some point they try to figure what we fighting for.
We're fighting for, yeah. So
somebody didn't do any forgiveness,
exactly, and that's
the bitterness,
that whole thing,
and unforgiveness.
Yeah, there was a lady that she had a lot of bitterness, resentment. She went to the doctor, and the doctor told her she had rabies.
Oh.
She got bitten by a raccoon.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor said, the test confirmed you have rabies.
Okay.
And so she gets her piece of paper
and starts writing.
And she starts writing. And the doctor looks up and she's writing. And he says, so can I ask you what you're writing?
Mm-hmm.
She said, yes, I'm writing down a list of people I'm going to bite.
She's going to exact some punishment.
Exactly. All the people that she's going to go, it's comical,
yeah,
but it's true.
She's going to go bite everybody.
She's going because that resentment is still there and her bitterness is still there.
Right.
And she wants to go down and inflict that kind of pain on people who have been, she has perceived, and maybe not just perceived, it's been reality.
Yeah.
Those people hurt her.
Right.
What the situation was.
Right.
But the principle is still the same. That you got to get that, you got to let that stuff go, because it'll eat your lunch. It'll make you do some stuff that you will regret all of your life. And it's really rooted into unforgiveness and bitterness and resentment. And I know we got to go, but I want to share this quick story.
Okay.
We all know the story. Jesus on the cross.
Mm-hmm.
And He said, Father, forgive them, for they know what they do.
Mhm.
And so people, but before Jesus got to that point, Jesus says, my God, why have you forsaken me?
Right. Right.
So he wasn't at the end of it. Now he's in the middle of it.
Mhm.
And he's watching God, in his mind,
turn his
turn
back.
his back. And he said, and not only did Jesus felt it, he said it,
Yep.
my God, why have you forsaken me?
Right.
That word forsaken means the same thing as abandonment.
Mhm.
We use the word forsaken in the Old Testament. Our modern word for that is abandoned.
Yeah.
There's people that's abandoned. It ain't just a feeling of abandonment. You have been abandoned.
Yes.
By your ex-wife, your ex-husband, sometimes your kids, your parents. It ain't just sometimes we can feel abandoned and it's not really there, but sometimes it is the reality.
Sure.
You have been abandoned. That's why a lot of women, they angry and bitter because this guy did walk out and leave them.
Right.
They abandoned him. So we felt just like Jesus did. The issue is Jesus worked his way through
that process.
His
his
feeling of abandonment.
Right.
Because he said, my God, why have you forsaken me? At the end of it, he said, Nevertheless, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Into your arms I commit my spirit. Jesus worked his way through the process. James, we get stuck in the process. We get stuck. And when we get stuck, we are living this complicated, serious, unforgiveness world. Yeah. And that can be very painful. And it can take away a lot of our joy and our peace because we got stuck in this thing called unforgiveness.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah, to take up the offer, we could go on. But I feel like I really wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Because a lot of people, it's reality. And it's everybody, I don't care who we are going to have to deal with unforgiveness and people doing wrong to you at some point in time in your life.
Yeah.
And you have to make a choice. Am I going to forgive this person or am I going to just walk around in this unforgiveness world with my piece of paper with their name on it? They don't bite them.
Well, Dr. Glenn Warren, we appreciate the words of wisdom, and we want to remind you of our viewers, please register for a scholarship, or
if you know somebody who's struggling, and
come on over to Fathers Forever University. We want to be able to definitely get them in our latest semester. Looks like we got a new viewer. We want to say a shout out to Mr.
James Best.
Hello,
thank you, sir. Yes.
But each week we're going to try and bring you something different, something new.
Yes.
And we welcome you, all of our viewers who we thank you for being a part of this, but we want you to also share this with your friends. And make a comment and let us know that you're watching us. And, we run into folks all the time. We want to hear that. We want to know that you guys will make a difference in your life and in your situation, and we want to hear it. Hear from you. Absolutely. And I think we're going to bring back our other feature where we had some trivia questions. And we want to get some input, but we need your help. And but we're going to go ahead and check out. Sign off for the day. And we thank you for joining us. Have a safe weekend. Yes, and everybody else. We'll see you next Thursday at 2:05. Absolutely.